Hello students, we are going to start the new chapter, that is controlling, right? Here in this lecture I have covered introduction of controlling, what is the meaning of controlling and what are the characteristics of controlling. Okay, only two students, they have submitted me the PDF of chapter 6. Okay, complete it as soon as possible, and we don't have that enough views to start the new chapter, but still I need to carry on with the syllabus, right? So I'm going to start with chapter 7, controlling. Okay, we have already learned the various functions of management in the very first chapter, starting with planning, organizing, staffing, directing, and controlling, right? So controlling is the last step. Controlling is the last functions of the management, right? Controlling is necessary for what purpose? That is, that whatever the things that we have planned, whatever the objectives that we have set, or whatever the information, orders that has been set, or standard that has been set by the top level management, the things that are being carried out in accordance with the plan or not, that will be checked out in the function of controlling, right? In planning, what we have done in planning, we have that assigned the roles, assigned the responsibility, we have planned that who is going to do how the things that will be carried out, right? And that is being done in accordance with that particular things or not, that will be checked into the controlling, right? In first chapter we have also learned that controlling is a controlling is a positive function, it is a positive activity, right? The main reason is what, see, when we talk about control or a controlling, many of people, they think that yes, there will be there will be restrictions over the activity or creativity of the employees or of the workers, right? But the main function or the main objective of controlling is what? To take the corrective steps, to take the corrective actions, right? When you set a target and if it is not being achieved, then there must be some deviations will be there. So those deviations need to be removed and corrective action or corrective steps that will be taken, right? So we can say that the controlling is what? Controlling is the time to time check it out that whether the things are being done in accordance with the plan or not, right? So what is the base of controlling? The base of controlling is planning, right? Because whatever the things that we have designed, or we have framed the policies, or whatever things that is in the planning that we have done in the planning, right? Controlling is necessary for that, right? So for controlling, planning is necessary. That is, planning is the precondition for the that controlling, that we can say, right? But the here main objective is what? The inner objective is this, that what we are going to do, we are going to take the corrective steps, we are going to take the corrective plans or corrective steps or corrective actions to remove the deviation, to improve the mistakes that has been done by the employees, or by at the end of the employee or the workers, right? And we are going to take into consideration that these things should not be repeated again in the future, right? So that is controlling. What is the meaning of controlling, right? The ordinary sense, right? That is what, by it is decided activities to be carried out, evaluate the same, and if required take the corrective measures so that they are done in conformity with the plan, right? We are going to what? We are going to set the standards. Like suppose for an example, that if you want to achieve good marks, right, you are going to what? You are going to set the goal. Time to time you are going to evaluate your performance, right? That whether whatever the score that you have generated in your examination, that online examination that we are going to conduct, or whatever the things will be there. Okay, so in accordance with that you are going to do that thing, right? And if any corrective actions that need to be taken, that yes, you need to improve your reading time, if you need to improve some activities that you are doing, you are going to do that thing, right? So controlling is what? Controlling is that to take the corrective steps or to take the corrective measures, whether it is being required to achieve the particular target that has been set in the planning, right? The definition that is given by Mr. Peter F. Drucker, that is what? To maintain a balance between efforts and the results, between resources and objectives. Understand this thing, that efforts and results, efforts that will be done into planning, and results that can be achieved through proper controlling, right? And resources, that is man and material, and the objective that we have set in the planning, right? So controlling is going to what? Controlling is going to maintain the balance between these things, right? So the main essence of controlling is what? To see the functions that is carried out in accordance with the predetermined standards that is in planning that we have set, right? And regulate the activities at a particular pace. Okay, right? There are so many meanings that are given, around 3 to 4, that I have only covered 2. That is in ordinary sense, that what is the meaning of controlling, and the definition that is given by Mr. Peter F. Drucker. Characteristics. First, it is related to planning, as I have already given you the idea in concept or introduction, that we can say that planning and controlling, they are the two sides of the same coin, right? Without planning, controlling is not possible. That what you are going to do the control, right? Okay, like that you don't have that goal, you don't have that objective, you don't have that activities that has been pre-decided or predetermined. What you are going to control? Nothing, right? So whatever the things that has been decided into planning, controlling is going to make sure that yes, activities these activities are going to be carried out in accordance with the proper plan. Second, function at every level of management. See, controlling it is going to require at every level management, that is whether it is top, whether it is middle, or whether it is bottom, right? But the level of controlling that is going to be differ. The maximum control that is going to require at the bottom level, right? Then middle, and least control that is required at the top level. Why? Because they have that sense of self control or self discipline that is there in the top level and the middle level. But compared to these two, bottom level workers, they are going to require more control, right? Because these people, they don't have that self regulation or self discipline, right? So we are going to what? We are going to that extent of control that is going to depends on the particular level of management. Okay. Third, continuous process. Once the controlling activity that has been started, whatever the targets that has been achieved, right, through controlling, then this activity must be going on and on. Like suppose that yes, you have targeted 70 marks, you have got 75 marks, so it does not the control activity, it is not going to end there, right? You are going to set the new standards. Yes, I can score 75, so I can go for up to 85 or 90 marks, right? So you are going to set the new target. Same way, if you are going to get the least mark, that is that 40 or 45, then you have to work more harder, right? So controlling, it starts with the inception of the business organization or a particular business unit, and it carried out throughout the life of a business unit, right? Constant efforts that need to be made behind the personnel, right, behind the individual workers or the employees, right, to get the things done at a proper time and at a proper place. Okay, then it is an end activity of a management. See, that we have already seen here, that it is the last function of the management, it is the end activity, right? That controlling, it is required for what purpose? To carry it out. Like that planning, it is going to give an idea. Organizing, we are going to assign the roles and responsibilities. Staffing, we are going to put the manpower. Through directing, we are going to motivate, we are going to guide the particular employees. And controlling, it is necessary to get all these functions in a single line, right? That planning, organizing, staffing, directing, everything, it is there, right? But without control, without that proper that time to time check, it is not going to be a successful thing. Okay, then related to future, controlling is related to future. How it is going to relate it with the future? Like suppose for an example, that whatever the mistakes that has been done by the employees or the workers, if it is being done in accordance with the plan and deviations are there, then those things should be removed, right? And make it sure that it is not going to happen in the future, because whatever happened in the past, that is not going to be changed, right? So controlling is going to help to improve the performance, to improve the particular we can say that that performance, or that the input of the employee must be going to improve through proper controlling. That in future these activities or these mistakes, they are not going to happen in the future period of time. So it is related with the future, right? Because whatever the errors that has been happened in the past, in the present, whatever the wastage of resources that has been done, so that should be removed, that should be reduced, and it cannot be repeated in the future period of time. Next, that it is a constructive activity. Why it is called as a constructive activity? Because see, many times that when we use this phrase, that is the term that is controlling, right? Many of the people, they are going to think, yeah, there will be restriction over us, there will be that liberty that will be taken away from us. It is not like that, right? It is there for what? To improve the performance, to improve the standard of working of the employees and the workers, right? It is a positive activity. Whatever the mistakes that has been taken or that has been occurred due to the that problem of the not focusing on the work, or having that that confusion in the mind, controlling is going to remove those things, that deviations that will be removed, right? And constantly, see, supervisor, they are going to find out that whether these mistakes are happening, so that will be removed, right? So it is a constructive activity. It is going to give the particular workers the brief idea about the work, that how they are going to achieve it, what is the things that what are the things that are going to be there to improve the performance, everything that will be done, right? So controlling is completely a positive activity. It is not a negative, and that is why it is considered as the constructive one, right? Okay, employees, whatever the mistakes that has been done in the past, that will be removed, that will be improved, and they are going to taken into consideration. They are not going to be repeated into the future period of time, right? So it is a constructive activity. Then it is an internal process. See, controlling, it is there to control over what? To control over the internal activities that are being like purchase, production, financial matters, everything that are there. It is there for the that internal stakeholders like employees, that workers, owners. They can be what? They can be controlled, but they don't have control over the external factors like technological changes, government policy, or whatever the things will be there, right? The taste of a customers and a preference of a customers that are being changed, right? So it is an internal process, right? Whatever happening into the that within the that boundaries of a business unit, that can be controlled, right? But same thing will not be controlled over and above the boundary line of a business unit, right? You are sitting in a class, I can control, right? But out of the gate, no, right? Next, that is dynamic process. Why it is considered as a dynamic process? See, because to find out the errors, to improve those errors, constantly that effort that will be made by the that superiors to improve the performance of their subordinates, right? Because it is based on the planning and the foresight, right? Whatever the changes that are being done in plan, it is going to require that immense intellectual effort, that mental or psychological efforts that need to be made, right? So it is a dynamic process because they need to tackle the manpower individual with their different kind of mindset and with the particular different efforts, right? So it is a dynamic process. Then controlling is a person oriented or a subjective activity. See, each and every person they will be targeting, right? It is a planning or the whatever the management functions that are being done by the humans, and they are for the humans, right? That is, the person will be is at the center, human is at the center, right? Like suppose there are 101 students, and 101 students, they are going to make a different mistakes, right? So I need to target each and every person, each and every student to improve their performance. Like that those who are getting 90 marks, I will be trying to get them up to 95 or 96 or 97. Those who are that getting only 33 or 34, 35, I will be trying to improve their performance and getting them above 50, right? So different person, different effort that need to be made out, right? So controlling is a subjective or a person oriented activity, right? That every individual, they are going to be targeted. Every individual has their own weaknesses, right? Those weaknesses should be removed and performance that need to be achieved, right? And last one, that is controlling can be formal and informal. See, when the organization structure, it will be created, the formal structure, accordingly formal controlling will be there. But as being the time that is going to be passed, right, that friendly relations that will be developed, right, with the passage of time, and controlling that of informal system that can be achieved, right? Firstly, when we have introduced each other, like in 11th commerce, we have that formal relationship, but then slowly and gradually as the time being passed, we have developed the informal relations. You can take the ideas from me, you can take suggestions from me, right, at any point of time. So that is what, that is informal. Sometimes that informal controlling, it is going to prove more effective than the formal one, right? So controlling, it can be both, that is formal or it can be informal, right? Okay, go through it. If you have any doubt, do let me know. Thank you.